Hey, you are live.
We are live. Hello, my name is Colby Sharp,
My name is Alaina Sharp. I guess this is the part where I say my name.
and we are a husband and wife team
We're
of educators.
unscripted.
And we have a podcast called Partially Proficient that you're possibly listening to now. And our friend Ann Smart is in here. So we are also not only a podcast, but we are streaming live on Facebook and Twitter.
We
and
are a big
YouTube.
deal, is what he's trying to say.
So we just we are not a big deal, but we are happy.
No.
We are a couple of teachers surviving our first week. Alaina, why don't you? We have comments coming in, friends who are listening on the podcast, and it's hard to not be distracted, especially because our funny friend Ann Smart is on here. But why don't you really quick describe the plan that our district has? We teach in the same district. I teach fifth grade, self-contained. Alaina teaches high school chemistry and advanced chemistry. And our school back to school learning plan is what?
It's described as the high flex model, HY capital FLEX, high flex, which means you are in person learning all day
Every day.
at 4.5 days per week, which is actually like 4.63
We had
days
a few
per
hours
week.
early Wednesday to plan.
Yep. Or online, completely online.
All teachers are in classrooms.
All teachers are in classrooms, but depending on what the student chooses, we could have, for example, with me, 31 chemistry students, 24 could be in person, and the remaining 7 online completely from home. So that is our plan. And students have to declare every 4 weeks. Students or parents have to declare every 4 weeks which path they are choosing. But if you are in person, you can go online at any time. If you're online, you have to wait until the 4 weeks expires to choose and go back to in person.
And if that sounds like we're doing 2 jobs, it feels like we're doing 2 jobs at times. Yes?
I'm just curious why someone wrote Trump on my
Oh yeah, that's like a bot. So go ahead. What do you think? Do you think it's a lot of work? Well, for the first 3 days, there's our cat. We had 3 half days. We were supposed to have a half day and then 2 full days, but due to the heat, no air-conditioned classrooms or very few air-conditioned classrooms, we decided to go 3 half days. A little more than half day. So we went from 8:30 to 12:35 in the elementary and 7:30 to 11:35 in the high school. And you came home the first day and you said,
I don't know. I'm so tired. I don't know.
You said it was one of the best first days.
Yeah.
You've ever had.
Yeah. I was really, I think teachers all around are trying to be as positive as we can. And I was trying to be positive and also really scared. And I think I had the best first day I've had maybe ever teaching. And a lot of that was me. I don't know. Maybe it's just my 17 years now of being in education and being in front of students. But I always get like a little nervous and jittery, but always on the first day, I'm like just a mess. And I just was kind of calm, cool, and collected. It went really smoothly, I thought. And I was so happy to not just see my students in person, like that was great, but also just like the emails from my online students and things like that. So it was a lot. I don't want to say better than I was expecting, because the plan itself was not at all better than I was expecting. It's actually way worse, and not to be negative, but it's way worse than I even imagined. But the first day was great. And actually the second day was great with students. It's all that stuff in the classroom with students has been great.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
We are drowning.
And it was great to see the kids. It had been 5 months since we had seen kids in person. It was so amazing to see these.
Or taught stuff. Because even when we were virtual in the spring, we weren't allowed to teach new content. So it was all it was great. It was touching base, but it wasn't, in your room doing your thing. And it's still not, but it sort of feels like it.
Yeah,
I guess.
it was really good to see the kids. So I teach 5th grade, and we really struggled day one with our nose in our mask. Did your high schoolers, how did they do? A lot of
terrible. And we have a lot of very vocal high schoolers, mostly boys.
Yeah.
Who are very adamant that they tell everyone that they hate wearing their masks. And we get it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Me too. Yes.
Yeah.
Noted.
So we are K-12 mask all day for kids, except for when they're eating lunch or they are outside.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
And I tell my kids that they can get a drink of water, though. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like I have to drink my coffee, so I'm like.
It's kind of, it's interesting, the coffee.
Or like drink my water. And I have several classes where like very few students opted to stay home. So I can't keep them very separate from each other. I have a really big room.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. I have a lot of sophomore boys, which I don't mean to pick on the boys again.
Yeah,
but,
what's up with that?
Well, the girls are always fine. Like if you tell them to do something, they're like, oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. But the boys are like, you have to say things a bunch of times, and then you have to put in like your serious voice and your serious face. And then they know like, oh yeah, she's not messing around. But like, no, you can't walk over and like hang out. No. That's not how it's gonna be. It's not gonna be how it goes.
And in our state, social distancing at the phase that we're in is strongly recommended or recommended? Strongly recommended, but not required. So our job as teachers, what we have been told, is that if it is at all possible, we need to maintain social distancing, which is really hard as a teacher because I had to rearrange my room. I had to get rid of the couches, get rid of the carpet, get rid of the tables where everyone sits and works together. And we are rows of desk, which is different for 5th grade for me that I'm used to. And I keep wanting to go up and down the rows, but I know that that's what I should do as someone trying to be a good teacher and help my kids, but I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, I struggled so bad.
And I kept finding myself or a kid would raise their hand.
And you get up and go to them. I'm a pacer. Like I circle the room and I do like figure eights, and that's what I do all day.
Yeah, so that's
and
really
I was
hard.
Doing it, and I'm like, oh no, like I can't do this.
That's really
But hard. It feels wrong to sit on my butt in front of the room.
But but that's what we're supposed to do. Like we are supposed to stay away from the kids if we can to keep them safe. And what I found was it's miserable. And it was 3 half days.
3 half days? So, what are we going to do?
So we survived the first day. I don't want to jump too far. We survived the first day. And then we got home and we did not have to work in the afternoon that first day. That was always supposed to be a half day. So we had that afternoon off and we got home and we basically just worked until we went to bed about 11:30.
Or later. Yeah. I think I was past midnight.
And then basically we did the exact same thing the next day
and Friday.
Yeah. And then by Friday we were exhausted and
I worked all night and I worked all day yesterday and I worked all day today.
So it's really hard. And we're trying to figure it out. I do think it's got a possibility to get a little bit better, but I do feel like I'm worried about our colleagues.
I'm very worried about teachers.
Yeah, I think that
here's the thing, friends, like not trying to but like the technology part of it, like making a video is really not a big deal for me. I can do that as I've been putting out like a parent video every day on Screencast 5 minutes. Like I can do my lecture videos and post them really quick. I don't know Schoology very well, but I can figure it out. And I know that is not the case for all of our colleagues. So there's that piece. And it's just the amount of work is overwhelming and insane. And
here's the thing, like you could punt things,
especially like, can I just say something? Like yes, it's an insane amount of work to do like a subpar job. And I think that's
Yeah.
what's so infuriating about it, is that even though I'm doing all this work, I know it's not the best that I could do for my students.
It's really
And
hard.
that just makes me so angry, because if I'm going to put in all this work, like, I want to be proud of what I'm doing, and I don't feel like I can be that way right now.
It's hard. And when we have all of these kids in class, I just keep thinking about our kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
And as a fifth grade teacher, we're parents of a fifth grader, we have our kid is learning at home. So I'm thinking about our kids. I'm thinking
yeah.
about my daughter, for one, because she's in my class, not there. And it's hard to not be able to give her what I want to be able to give her. It's just hard. So we're trying to figure out what it looks like to be good parents and spouses and teachers at the same time. And the beginning of the year is always hard, but it was 3 half days. It was 3 half days. And what we're supposed to do at the elementary is, I'm a fifth grade teacher, so we have 3 buildings and 7 fifth grade teachers, and we're supposed to create all of the lessons together for the week. And so, like, I might teach the writing lessons, and another teacher might create the math lessons, and 2 teachers might collaborate to create the reading lessons, social science, social studies. And it's so much work, even dividing it up. But Alaina has one other person helping with chemistry who also teaches one other subject.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has advanced chemistry, which is pretty intense. And
Very intense.
And she's the only one. So
it's AP, essentially.
Yeah. So she is the only one doing that. We have a question from...
We have a lot of actual...
So we have this question from Lisa saying, how are you managing that?
Not well.
Not very well. We slept very, very well. I
didn't.
Well, I fell asleep very well. But yeah, so we're not really managing it very well.
Sure. Jessica Roberts is live teaching. We have some teachers at our school that want to do that, but we've been told that we need to preload everything. And I'd also be, so like, I just wonder, I'm just curious if you're using Zoom then to just like kind of live stream your teaching, or if you're, I don't know how you're doing that. Cause I thought if I were to, that would certainly cut down on the amount of work, because I could just teach first hour and then post it for all my online kids, if that's what we're doing anyways. But I just don't know how I would, and we're supposed to preload it. So we're trying to figure that out.
So we've
also been told that the online experience needs to be equitable. Mm-hmm. So it shouldn't be any kind of advantage to coming to school, which is tough.
Because we wanted parents to be able to choose the online option, knowing that their kid was going to get the same education.
Right. And I had a lot of students say this week, and I had to correct them. They're like, well, Mrs. Sharp, but like, that's their choice. And I'm like, well, maybe not. It could be that they have a family member at home who is immunocompromised, so it's not really a choice. Yeah. Or their little brother or sister has to stay at home, so they have to stay at home to watch. It's not really their choice. So we can't punish them. So it needs to be identical, and that is really tough to do. I've also been told as a chemistry teacher, like, you can't run labs, because not only can those kids at home not fire up their Bunsen burners, but you would have to disinfect every test tube, every wire gauze, like everything. And that's just not feasible. So I'm trying to figure out if there's like almost like kitchen chemistry that I can have them do, just to do
like
something.
A volcano.
We're going to do some marker
Mentos
color chromatography this week. It's just like black marker on a
we
filter
did that
paper.
At our house.
But
you did that with our kids.
Yeah. So
what a teacher. What a teacher.
So yeah.
So by Friday, I was very much committed to...
These are my lesson plans for next week.
I was very much committed to not walking up and down the aisles, wanting to keep people safe, wanting to do what's asked of me.
It just feels...
And I do feel that that's best. I do feel
wrong.
that yeah. So I have like this rectangular table that sits a little higher than a desk, and I have a stool on one side and a stool on the other side. And in the middle, I have this fiberglass partition. Is that the right word? Does that work?
Yeah.
And it's got like this little like rectangular slit on the bottom. It's almost like a bank teller, like where you could slide things back and forth. So
You're not supposed to touch things.
I don't touch things, but they sit on one end if they have a question or if I call them up, and I sit on the other end, and then I point. I need a laser pointer. I like point to their notebook or their iPad and like try to walk them through it, and then hopefully I've been able to meet their needs and answer their question. Then they go back to their seat, and then next to me is a thing of wipes, and I wipe off their side of that's the only time I reach under. I wipe off their side, and then I throw away the wipe, and then someone else comes. And I do not know what the right plan is. So I'm not saying that our district picked the right or the wrong plan. I just know that this is a really hard year, and it does feel like our plan is not good for teachers.
I would say it has room for improvement.
Yeah, and it was the first week, so hopefully we can figure that out. Our superintendent requested that we have all day Wednesdays to plan and to work with our online kids. The board decided to start the year with half days and then revisit it. So hopefully when we get to our next board meeting, that will be reconsidered. I know that I do feel that we have some really special teachers in our district, and I think that the reason that this has been such a hard week is for so many teachers. I've seen teachers fluster that I've never seen flustered. Yeah. And there's been teachers crying in the district that have probably never cried at school. So
there's been teachers that I would call unflappable or like super like rock steady. And we're falling apart at the seams here at Western High School that I've noticed. So I'm sure that that's the same no matter what your plan is, because it's hard no matter what. And we're all trying to figure it out. One thing that I found every day, I start with my in-person students saying like, look, I'm going to do the best that I can with this. But I'm learning, and I keep using that analogy, building it as I fly. And some days are going to crash and burn, and some days might be okay, and we will get better as we go. But and I found high schoolers in general are pretty gracious when you're upfront with them about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to say, okay, yes, definitely, Anne. The Charlie Brown comment. So I realized I can't hear anything that they're saying. So not like Lucy, like the teacher on Charlie Brown is what I'm getting at, because Lucy was the, advice, slide the money in. And I'm like the teacher on Charlie Brown because I've been sitting up there for 3 half days with my mask on, thinking that my students in front of me are understanding what I say, but I realize like I'm not understanding anything they're saying. So I think I'm just sitting up there. And when I say sitting, I have like a lab desk and I'm short. So what I usually do is I hop up there. So
this is how short she is.
So I'm about, like I'm like a 7-foot person being able to see my room when I do that. So I usually hop up on the table, and then I can see them all, but I don't think they can understand anything I'm saying. It's like, wah, wah, wah. So I don't know if they're understanding anything I say, but I'm really animated and I use my hands a lot. So they probably just go to Schoology and then read the directions. So yeah. I don't know.
This is an interesting comment from Gretchen. I will not beat myself up if I am bad at this terrible model of teaching.
Please tell me your secrets, because it's really hard to not, it's hard to not beat ourselves up. At least for me, I feel guilty that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I know another thing that I'm worried about, this is not the most important thing, but I feel that we both have sort of a reputation, and the kids expect a certain thing when they come into our classrooms.
They've heard
from siblings and friends. And I know that the students that I have did not get last week what they thought they were we're coming to. I think a lot of kids thought school was going to be pretty much normal. They were just going to wear a mask. And I think it's going to get harder this week as they have 5 full days.
And
as
lunch
they
in their
have
room.
lunch in their classrooms.
For high schoolers, that's like sacred time,
Yeah.
that lunch period. So
the 5th graders in my classroom, a lot of them, one, don't have friends. A lot of their friends are learning virtually, and then a lot of their friends are in other classes. They have not seen the kids in the other class at all, unless they were on the bus. But they come in. My kids come in at the end of the school, and they're in my classroom, and they see no one else. We have a mask break outside where we have like an extra recess, and they're with kindergartners. We have the playground is divided up into different sections, so they really have no contact with other than the kids that are in our class.
And that's hard. Ours could be improved upon. Our high schoolers go to 7 periods, and we all go into the hallway at the same time. And it's crazy. And they're all really close to each other. At the very first day when they came out, I was like, ah. So I feel like we could improve in that area, but yeah, again, just learning as we go, I guess.
So Angie Moore is talking about, I had tweeted that it was a really hard moment in class when a child asked if they could help another child because one child was struggling and they had it figured out. And I just instinctively, I'm like, yes, help. There's one of me and a bunch of you. But I was just like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like you have to stay away from each other. And I get that's why our district has gone to this model. We wanted to, feels like, give parents a choice. And we wanted to have kids in school that families wanted to be in school. So we have to, as teachers, follow the plan. We have to keep kids away from each other as much as we can. We have to stay away from kids as much as we can, because the last thing that we want to happen on our watch is that a kid gets sick, and then I let this kid help this other kid, and then both those kids took this terrible virus home, and I could have done something to prevent it. So as important as I think fractions and narrative writing and history of America through the Revolutionary War are important, our job, I think, first is to keep kids safe. And that's different than what it has been in the past. Like keeping kids safe before was making sure they had enough food to eat and making sure that they had all of those needs met. And that's still important. But on top of that, keeping kids who haven't seen each other in 5 months away from each other, keeping kids who went home one day and didn't see their classmates again for 5+ months. And now all they want to do, like I had a kid almost shaking at the end of the day on Friday. Like she just wanted to go to the other side of the room and talk to someone, like her friend, as we were being dismissed. And for her to not be able to, and for me to have to keep her away from her, knowing that the very small chance, right? The very small chance that one is infected and will get the other infected. It's just not a chance we're willing to take. So we don't have all of the answers. In fact, we probably have a lot. I think this is for any plan. We have a lot more questions, I think, than anything after a week. And, a lot of us teachers are talking and texting and Facebook messaging and emailing and trying to figure out what it is that we can do to make us not burn out, because it's 3 half days of school. And there's a chance that we're just overwhelmed with the newness, but it doesn't feel like that.
I don't think that's what it is.
It feels like, whoa, we have 11 kids learning at home who need us, and we're in a room with 18 kids.
Yeah. And I think just reading some of the comments here, it's one thing we are as teachers, if anything, is we pour our hearts and souls into what we do. That's why we do what we do. And we're in general, we are proud of what we do, and it's hard to feel proud of what I'm doing right now. I just wanted to take a second, Ashley. Oh, girl, to be a first-year teacher right now, I cannot even begin to imagine. And so I just want to give you some encouragement, because I felt overwhelmed in my first year of teaching, and my second and my third, and last year in my 16th. And it did get easier as far as like getting my feet underneath me and knowing what I was going to teach and feeling at ease in front of the room and knowing some tips and tricks. But oh my gosh, to start this year, and you are not alone. And I just want to say to give yourself some grace and to go slow. And hopefully you can find someone in your building who can be a rock for you and help you, because we all need each other right now. Like the words, "it takes a village," have never been more true than they are right now. Yeah.
So Ashley.
So hang in there.
Yeah.
Hang in there and look,
Let's
reach out if you need just even a cheerleading session. We're good at that.
Yeah. Ashley, if you're still watching, email me, Colby Sharp, COLBYSHARP @gmail.com, colbysharp@gmail.com, and we'll send you a box of books. We got lots of books.
And I'm Alaina Sharp @gmail.com, and I can't send you books, but
encouragement.
I could send you a funny video or just say hi.
Yeah. Hang in there, Ashley. Don't.
I have lots of random Legos around my house.
It's a great profession, and we're just in a really.
You are needed. You
Yes,
are needed,
you.
and you, if you want, tune into Teacher Pep Talk, my new podcast.
Oh, great segue here.
Which is daily podcast, like 5 to 10 minutes, giving you a pep talk to start your day from fellow teachers.
So Teacher Pep Talk, Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Yeah, and I really didn't mean to plug that. Like this is just.
I did. Look, I made a banner.
I know, it's like breaking news. It's just kind of something that I've always wanted to do. Last year, I felt myself. I'm like, I wish someone could just like talk some positivity to me on my way to school. I'm kind of spiraling and I don't want to go. And can someone please remind me why I'm doing this? And so that's what I thought I would do this year. So my goal is to do all of our Western school district school days. So if you want to tune in, or if you want to contribute, I need contributors. It's teacherpeptalk@gmail.com. And you can tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Teacher Pep Talk. And I know some of you out there watching have already sent your pep talk, so thank you so much. Last week, the 3 days, I was like, whoa, I did it. And then I'm like, wow, I have 177 more days to
more because you didn't take into effect all the snow days.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need my peeps. So yeah.
So friends, hang in there. We
believe in you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's still about relationships. It's still about connecting with kids. It is about making sure that all of our kids have what they need, and not leaving the kids behind whose families chose to keep them home. So we appreciate all that you're doing. We're not going to lie and tell you that it's easy or that it gets easier. We hope that it gets easier. We hope that we're here next week telling you about how much easier week 2 was. But we're not going to lie to you.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. We still believe in what we do. And I still believe more than ever it's really, really important. And it was dose. No, it was Uno.
Those of you listening to our podcast, partially proficient, we are filming this live on video, and our cat has been in it. We have a one-eyed cat named Uno.
And a two-eyed cat named Dose.
And 4 kittens.
And 4 kittens.
And 5 children and a dog.
A bunch of goldfish. And a very dirty house. So I'm sorry, Anne. I don't know. I wasn't I just saw it scamper across. So anyways, life is always interesting here at the Sharp household. Yes, Lisa, thank you.
She left a comment saying week 2 was easier than week 1.
Yay.
We're hoping that we have a 4-day week, so we have a 4-day weekend for Labor Day. We're gonna figure this out. So
should we talk about other stuff besides school?
We have we had a Saturday yesterday, which felt like the first Saturday in 25 weeks because we had to work at our job. And then we got to come home on Friday, and then there was
It was
Saturday.
like that clear demarcation between work week and weekend for the first time, because everything just kind of bled into everything
And
else.
there was nothing. Oh, here. So we have a comment here from my principal, Sue Haney. So thankful to work with you both. Well, we thank you, Miss Haney. And I need you to buy me some things. So since you popped on here, I'm going to need some things. I have a list. I'll be sure to share that Google Doc. Friends, I do teach with an amazing principal.
The best.
And Alaina and I were talking. She sent us an amazing email the night before and has been emailing us daily. And one of the things that has helped through this crazy time is she has honored our feelings.
Yes.
And respected how stressed it is and shared some of her concerns. And I can't tell you how much it helps to feel heard and to feel seen and to have someone in your corner. So with Sue Haney and with an amazing Parma staff. But it's so weird, like, because we want to like work together and talk like to each other, but we have to like be apart from each other because of COVID and not trying to get each other infected. Sue Haney also left a comment saying, how about you stop telling your colleagues what I need to buy for them? Yes, I am recommending lots of tech tools for our principal to buy. So we are a team. It takes a village, Miss Haney. It takes a village. So, but getting into some routines. We love you,
Miss Haney.
We are getting into some routines. And one of my favorite routines that we do is on Sundays, Alaina and I run 6 miles together. She runs really fast and really far. I run every day and much slower. But on Sundays, we try to run together. And we actually didn't really do that a ton after the first few weeks of quarantine. And it was really nice to run together today. We ran a B6. It's beautiful. The wind was blowing. It wasn't too hot.
Oh, finally.
We're working on getting our family schedule written down on a board to know who's picking up kids and taking kids where. Like tomorrow, we have different people going different places, speech for one kid and
gymnastics.
So we are
school at school and school at home and school in a pod. And, yeah. It's a lot to keep track of. It's our own fault.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Anything else? Any final thoughts? Before we go see our kittens. Kittens.
Colby is obsessed with our kittens. It's so funny. It's so funny, you guys.
So earlier this summer,
he
Alaina
was like an adamant
home
no.
all kinds of cats from the shelter. She just like came in and we were fostering cats. And then we had to give them up and everyone cried. And then
just the one time.
And then we had 4 kittens.
Five
and then one died, which was like the worst moment of the summer. And then we were heading back to school and our daughter wrote this like 3-page heartfelt letter about not giving up the kittens. And then we got her a cell phone so that we wouldn't have to keep the kittens for her birthday. And then
maybe not our best parenting move.
No, but then we were like, screw it.
Keeping it was a
kittens.
Really hard week.
Yes.
And then something bad happened like the next day too, remember?
I don't remember what it was.
We were like, can you imagine if we had told them that they we had drop off the kittens that day?
But the moment where you tell your children that they get to keep the 4 kittens they've been fostering, tears and joy and hugs, and it was magical.
It was.
We have a pretty cool family.
But Colby is the biggest sucker ever, and like he doesn't want to let on, but like he loves the cats more than anybody. He's like, let's go hang out with our kittens.
And the best part is,
let's go hang out with our
they
cats.
get all snuggly at night, and then they get really annoying, and Alaina puts them in the bathroom at night, and I don't have to do that, which I appreciate. So thank you. Thank you for taking care of our kittens. Friends, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to try to do this every Sunday night. We're trying to decide between 9 and 9:30. 9:30 was late for us.
Oh tonight. Man, I was so tired, you guys. And like we are late. Like I'm a night owl. And tonight it's like 8:15. And Colby's like, well, we could get some stuff done before 9:30. I'm like, 9:30? We have to be up another hour and 15 minutes for this. Yeah, I feel guilty. I don't feel like we were very helpful.
We were honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any ideas for what we should talk about on this show, or you have questions, just keep those coming. We like to do it. I think it's really a good way for us to kick off our week and to be ready to learn a lot. And we're gonna have a good week.
Yeah,
and I feel better.
And we like you. We like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like you out there. We want to be vulnerable, but not too negative. But we want to be real. And this is real. Like the worry we are all feeling the stress and like what's the conflict between what we have and what we're trying to give is real.
Yeah. We'll be better parents this week, better spouses this week.
I can only hope so, because I realized on Friday, I'm like, man, I'm really glad that my kids are super resourceful, because I have done like no parenting at all this week.
It ebbs and flows.
They figured out all their school stuff on their own and pack their lunches and do their stuff. And even Daria, I was telling my counselor this week, she is doing online. She's doing all online. And she really came up with some amazing responses for her assignments this week. Like, she's just really flourishing in this system. And that's when I go back to, okay, so for some of my high schoolers, I really think that this could be a godsend for them, because for whatever reason, whatever's going on in their life, and some of this stuff I'll never know probably, but in school or in person all the time is just not what's best for them. This gives them more flexibility and to do it in the comfort of their own space. And I think it could be really, really great. And so I need to not forget about those kids or keep them secondary. But again, there's that pressure of having to be all things to all kids. And I think that's where we all are right now. So it was a good reminder. She did this amazing flip grid that was like way above and beyond what she had to do.
Yeah.
And it's cool video, which God bless her teachers, she's really excited about being able to like talk about her passion of gymnastics and weave that into her assignments. So, teachers are getting it done still for these students who are at home and they weren't even able to.
Our teachers are working so hard. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
and to all the other teachers out there listening and watching, and principals. And that's, aside from being a first-year teacher, can you imagine being a principal this year, or a first-year principal? Oh my gosh. To our leaders out there.
Could you imagine their email inboxes?
No, because I just got done messaging before we came on. That's a good question. We should answer that. With a fellow teacher, and she had over 400 emails in her inbox that she was trying to take care of tonight. That's a lot. Miss Haney's question.
Oops.
Continue after this. I like that.
I don't know what that means. So Miss Haney said maybe each episode
could cover something that we can, like, what will we keep doing after we go back to like normal?
Oh, that's a great question.
See, that's what I said.
Well, one thing that our district has talked about a lot is that this is the end of snow days. So that's not one thing that we still want our snow days. I do think that
you're very salty about the snow day thing.
He
brings it up a lot.
I think that I do think that the constant communication with families is something that I want to continue. Like, I feel like I'm pretty good at communicating with families, but like I am like calling families. I have a time built in my day where like people can call the classroom and I will answer it. And I think that's huge. I do think some of the video lessons could be used for kids who are not at school. I had a child miss school for a family thing on Friday, and they were able to get their work done because it was all in the learning management system. So I really like that.
I would echo that as a high school teacher, especially. I have mostly juniors and seniors, some sophomores this year. But I kind of always had the mindset where these kids are close to graduating and they're taking upper level classes. My role in telling parents what's going on, and I still kind of feel like it's not required, but also now I'm seeing how nice it is for everything to just kind of be out there. So I have literally been recording a Screencastify at the end of each day. And I have the free version, so it maxes out at 5 minutes. I can't talk for more than 5 minutes. And I'm not going to do it every day, but just those first few days, just to say, like, Okay, so here's Schoology, and this is how I'm organizing the assignments, and this is where you can find what they need to do each day, and this is how I'm gonna always put things in and the things that you need. And I had a lot of positive response to that, and I could have done better, and I will definitely not do a video every day, but I'm gonna try to do like a weekly just update. Like, this is what we did this week, this is what's coming up, this is my face. If you have any questions, let me know. So, because they have 7 teachers throughout the day. So,
Jason Smart, communication is everything. He left a comment. And I do think that one of the most important things this year for administrators is to be willing to listen and be okay with us having issues with things. We're going to do everything that we can to help our kids and to be there for kids. But we can't just say everything is great and say everything is rosy.
And that's really hard for us too,
yeah.
because we're used to being positive, energetic, hardworking people all the time. And sometimes you have to just be real. And I think, what is the number one thing that impacts the effectiveness of my class every day? And it's me. And that's a lot of pressure. So if I come in being a grouch and being stressed out, then they're going to feel that. But if I'm calm and happy and relaxed, I guess that's also calm, but like they pick up on that too. And we know that. So that is also a big conflict. How can I feel calm and relaxed and happy when inside I'm churning and stressed and getting stress zits, which thankfully are covered up by my mask. And thanks to my beauty consultant and Smart here are going to hopefully go away.
So. I do think that goes both multiple ways. Us being able to communicate, us being able to communicate with our principals and our superintendents and our board members, but also us communicating and listening and getting feedback from families and from students learning virtually, because we have never done this. Like, most of us have never taught like this. So for us to do this well, we have to be willing to struggle and mess up and
be
fail
honest
and fail.
about that. That's what, when I talk to my high schoolers and I just say that, like, this could be a giant disaster what I'm about to do, but I feel like this is my best option right now. So forgive me if it's not. But thank you for being patient with me while I try it.
And we're not going to see all of our mistakes. Like, I need parents to know, like, this lesson didn't work for us, or you're not giving our kids enough work virtually, or you're giving our kids too much work virtually, or you need to do more of this or that. And like, we don't have to just necessarily do everything that they tell us, just like administrators are going to do everything that we tell them to do. But we have to be willing to seek that feedback, like ask for that feedback, and like be like, administrators should be like begging teachers to tell them honestly how they feel. And we should be begging parents to tell us honestly how they feel, and students learning at home, especially in the high school, the older ones, so that we can make this work. Otherwise, we're all going to burn out. Let's end with this.
Comment. You probably are wondering why quote "suck it up" is on our screen. And this is probably one of, I feel guilty saying this is one of the best moments of my week, but it was some much needed levity during our week.
The first day of kindergarten, our 5-year-old son, our one child learning in person, Hobbs, is in a kindergarten classroom.
He is in a
You take it from here.
Oh, this is okay. So our Hobbs is a very sweet boy. He is kind and snuggly, but he's also super competitive, and he's about getting to work and getting things done. So in his kindergarten class, he had a fellow young lady kindergartner who was having kind of a giant meltdown next to him. And his teacher came over and was trying to talk her through it. And Hobbs turned to her and looked at her with his superhero mask on and said, "Suck it up."
That's our kid.
And that was it. Suck it up.
And friends, This is not the year to tell people to suck it up. This is a year of grace and forgiveness and support. So while at times we might want to tell people to suck it up, just like we told our son, we get it. We totally get it. Maybe we could
He
have
said he
done-
wanted to concentrate.
concentrate.
He
yeah.
wanted to concentrate. But we had to talk about how your teacher just talked to you about how
First
we
day.
need to listen.
First day of kindergarten.
And recognize when people are having a hard time and try to cheer them up and make things better. And Hobbs's response was to tell her to suck it up. And he was so sorry.
He's listening because he wouldn't even hug us after the first day of school because they were learning about your bubble and personal space.
Yeah. So when I confronted Hobbs about it, I said, did you tell someone in your class to suck it up today? And he's like, I'm so sorry.
We're going to make mistakes, just like Hobbs. We're all going to make mistakes, being willing to say we're sorry and move on. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Partially Proficient. I'm Colby Sharp.
I'm Alaina.
And we look forward to chatting with you next week. Have a great week.
Have a great
Don't
week.
forget to listen to Teacher Pep Talk on Apple Podcast and Spotify. It's a great way to kick off your day each day.
We love you guys. Hang in there. Bye.